Hello, this is Claus Jensen presenting the game Aronian Gashimov from round 6 of Tata Steel Chess 2012. This game ended only a few minutes ago. Aronian was playing the white pieces and Gashimov was playing the black pieces. And the game started d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, c5. Gashimov is an opening expert in this modern Benoni. d5, d6, knight c3, e takes d5, c takes d5, g6, bishop f4, bishop g7, queen a4 check, bishop d7, queen b3, b5, bishop takes d6, queen b6, bishop e5, castles e3, c4, queen d1, b4, knight e2, bishop b5, knight ed4 and knight bd7, and after knight takes b5, queen takes b5. Gashimov seems to be perfectly okay with the black pieces here. He has better development, and he will quickly win back the pawn on d5, and he has a space advantage on the queen side, which is one of the characteristics of the modern Benoni. Bishop d4, queen takes d5, bishop e2, knight b6. Castles, rook a c8, rook c1. And of course, Gashimov is having some problems defending his advanced pawns on the queen side. This c4 pawn is a problem to defend, but knight d7 seems to work perfectly okay for black. Bishop takes g7, queen takes d1, rook takes d1, king takes g7, bishop takes c4, knight takes c4, rook takes d7, and knight takes b2 would be okay for black. But in the game, Gashimov played rook f to d8. And then queen e1 is a strong move. And it leaves black with an unpleasant choice of how to defend his pawns. For example, queen b5, then bishop takes b6, queen takes b6, and rook takes c4 would lose him a pawn. So instead, Gashimov decides to play c3 here, which is also losing a pawn, but he hopes to get some space and some initiative here. B takes c3, b takes c3, bishop a6. And perhaps the idea of sacking the exchange to keep this c3 pawn on the board would have made sense for Gashimov, because in the game continuation Gashimov basically gets nothing for his pawn. So perhaps the idea knight e4 here, bishop takes c8, rook takes c8 would be an idea. I'm not sure how well it is, but it looks like an interesting idea. But in the game, rook c7 followed here. And then Aronian took the pawn on c3. Rook takes c3 and queen takes c3 and knight e4. Queen a3. And what exactly does Gashimov have as compensation for the pawn? I think we can safely say basically nothing. Bishop takes d4, knight takes d4, queen c5. And generally, when you like to exchange, you would like to exchange pieces when you're up on material, not when you're down. So it's a little bit strange that Gashimov offers the queen exchange here. Queen takes c5, knight takes c5, bishop b5. Aronian has this pawn, and how should Gashimov defend at this point? And again, I find it a little strange that he offers another piece exchange and even accepts a weakening of his pawn structure. He plays knight e6 here. Knight takes e6, f takes e6, rook c1, rook d2, a4, rook a2, g3, and now knight takes a4 would lead to bishop c4, attacking both the rook and the pawn. So instead, Gashimov played a6 here. Aronian took the pawn on a6, and then Gashimov took the pawn on a4, bishop b5, rook a5, bishop e2, knight d7, rook c7, knight f4, bishop c4, attacking this weak e6 pawn, which is also pinned to the black king. Rook a4, and from now on, Aronian's plan is quite simple. He starts activating his king to bring the majesty into the attack of the pawn on a6. King g2, rook b4, h4, h6, f4, h5, and now the king starts moving forward. King f3, rook a4, king e4, king h8, king e5, king g8, king f6. And in this position, Gashimov resigned the game. And this led to another win for Aronian, who has started off brilliantly in the Tata Steel Chess 2012. He now has 4.5 points out of 6 and is leading the tournament. So a great start for Aronian, but of course still a lot of rounds to go. I hope you enjoyed this very recent game, and I hope to see you on my chess website at clausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.